Well, howdy there, y'all. Yamasaki here. Welcome back to the channel. Today's part 7 of the Lauson hit and miss engine restoration. Still don't have the block fixed or anything yet. Just waiting on getting that repaired. So I've just been slowly making strides across all the other parts here. So we're going to go ahead and look into that and maybe do some woodwork. I don't know. We're just going to have to find out. Right, so I think it was part 5 that I said I wanted to have a couple parts done and completed, in which I do. There's 3 of them sitting right here. I'll go over each one individually just so you guys get a better look and all that. Like I said, the block still needs work. Flywheel's done. I mean, I almost have all the parts done. I've been working on the gas tank a little more, as I was starting it off in part 6. I've been working on the skids. I got some wood cut out. We'll get into all that. But let's go ahead and just go through some parts that I got done and everything. We're going to start off with the governor and camshaft assembly, because that's one of the parts that I was saying that I wanted to have done and completed. Which it is so. It is all ready to go. Ready to be slapped on the engine. Now, I finally have figured out how this thing actually works. I've just slowly been learning about it throughout this series. But it's all complete. I mean, there's nothing left to do on it. There's your slider. Slides in and out. You got your catch, your toe catch right there, as you can see. Now, I kept getting the functionality of this thing confused, because when it turns, pushes your rod and all that, and that is when the toe gets caught right there to leave your exhaust valve open. But when it slows, it is supposed to, the collar on the governor is supposed to push out, or pull back in, I guess I should say. And then I believe there should be a spring here that holds this piece up. It's only when it slows down or speeds up that the collar presses against this piece, which forces this toe down. So it's quite interesting. I had to order some grease cups and caps. These are just Chinese reproductions. I mean, they fit perfect. They look real nice. My only complaint on these is these lids. You see, that's fully screwed on, and they're very loose. So I think a lot of grease might come out through the threads. I don't think it's such a big problem. Replace the bolt here. That's to help with timing, I think. You just adjust that bolt. Cotter pin here. Not like it's really needed, because I couldn't really get this pin out to save my life. Put a new pin here, and that's kind of to help stop this thing from going too far up and down. I have that piece that connects to your magneto rod, and there's the cup where your push rod would go. So this thing turned out beautifully. I think the red and gray was a great choice. Very well put together. In great shape for being left out to fend for itself for 100 years. Next part is the piston. Another piece I said I wanted to have done, and for the most part, it is. Only other thing is I need to figure out how to put a key in there. Keep that screw from coming undone and causing a whole bunch of mayhem. But I've painted the connecting rod. There's another one of those brass oiler cups. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but on the main bearings and right here, there was just grease zerks. Someone was just rednecking it, trying to keep it lubricated and everything that way. I have since gotten all the rings free, best I can. I evaporusted this thing. I mean, I ultrasonic cleaned it, and I think that's what did it. That's what got that bottom ring unstuck. Because it's free. It'll move. If I can get it here. You see that? There's still a whole bunch of gunk in there. And I'm not going to risk taking those rings off. It's not necessary. Very well put together. Very well made. It should do us some good work. Yeah, absolutely. Turned out beautiful. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I've seen on some where the connecting rod has a tunnel going all the way through up to here to lubricate up here from your grease cap here. But I don't think that's the case. I think this is just a little pocket where extra grease can go. And then once it gets hot enough, it'll melt, get into this groove, and lubricate further. So, pretty interesting and fascinating stuff. But there's the piston, ready to rock and roll, all greased up. Yeah, looking good. Third item is the gas tank. And I've been working on this thing for probably about 3 days. I've been having to patch up the bottom and try and get all the rust out that I can. It's been a tricky son of a gun. There was a lot of rust in that thing and a fair amount of pinholes, but it could have been a lot worse. This is still a very solid gas tank. I primed it and I painted it hunter green. I just figured, what the hell? I think this tank would look good in hunter green. So I went with that theme. And then this color here that I put on the cap, as well as your drain plug over here. It's called Shiny Penny, or Lucky Penny. I just think it would have gone good with the green, and I will say it does. This dried relatively quickly, so I got this done pretty easily. The line, I found out after taking it off, taking this piece off, I still do have the check ball in there, so we're good to go on that. The line is free, nothing's clogging it. Put some Teflon tape there. I still gotta tighten up right here on this compression fitting. It's still a little loose to where I can just freely move this, and we don't want that. Although it's very stiff there, so a little concerned about that, but I'll get it figured out one way or another. If I flip this thing over, I'll show you the damage that was done to this thing. I gotta get it out a certain way here. There we go. Now, there have been previous repairs. These two were previous repairs at some point in this tank's life. Those were not leaking. I believe that was a previous repair, and that was a previous repair. If that's not just gunk that I didn't get off. I repaired here. This is a big area that needed repaired. Lots of little pinholes there. I fixed it here. I fixed it here. And a tiny little spot right there. It was really bad. I think the reason why it's not as bad over here as it is over here is because if I flip this thing back around, the engine would be facing this way. This would be the front of the engine because it would go up to your carb, your fuel mixer right here. And sticking out back about this far is your fuel cap. And there was just a simple paper or cardboard gasket in here. I'm not sure what it was made of. But that's a big hole. And I'm sure a lot of moisture got up in there and caused all that damage. So, now, a lot of you might be thinking that this is a handmade, custom, farmer's fabricated gas tank. I'm here to tell you no. No, not at all. This is a genuine, original Lauson gas tank. It's a pretty big son of a gun, and it's very well made. No leaks except for what nature has made it do so. So those are the 3 parts I wanted to have done. Still just doing basic paint work. These are the 3 bolts that hold the pulley assembly together and on the flywheel as well. Went with a smoke gray to kind of differentiate color. Here is the front brace, or the rear brace, on the skid assembly that holds the whole engine to the framework. This one bolts to the framework, but instead of having bolts hold it down, it's just got 2 giant nails that go through, and you slam them down in those skids. Very interesting. Being that we're out here, might as well show you the pulley assembly. All painted up and good to go. Now, I don't know if I can really show you, but there's just bolts down in there, and they're cut a specific way to have them fit in here. They should come out, and I tried to get them out, but they didn't come out. So I just left them, masked them off. There was some canvas fabric right here that was riveted to this thing. I don't think I'm going to add that because I really don't know how to rivet very well. And they were heavy-duty bronze rivets of all things. So I'm pretty sure that patch of canvas was just there to keep some grip on that belt as you were running your implements and everything. Then here is the V-pulley. Now, I don't know if this is an original pulley or not. I'm suspecting that it is. I just have no idea what the hell's going on here. Looks like it was rusted out, maybe torched out. There's 3 bolt holes here for something, but the ones that line up with this are these ones out here. So, as to what's going on there, I am clueless. And like I've said, I've just been working on the skid assembly. See, I got the rear bracing off. It would have nailed in right here and right there. Douglas fir is what my dad bought me. I had Dad deal with the wood because he's been a woodworker for 30-some years, and he knows what kind of wood will work for this. So this is just a 2x6 Douglas fir from Home Depot. I have it cut to length. I just gotta do all the other work to it now, but they're 29 inches long, and these were originally 2x6s too, so don't have to worry about sizing or anything like that. I think the trickiest part on this assembly is going to be these long holes that bolt the engine to this skid assembly. I still have to take that bracing off, but I need something to keep this thing in its shape while I take pictures, so I have some reference points. I think how I'm going to do this is I'll use these as a template to drill the holes that I can, and then I'll figure these out. But what I need to do is once everything's ready to go, I'll have to make these pieces that hold the gas tank up exactly the size of these, put the gas tank in there, mount the engine, and then these wedges I will custom make to fit in there once everything's in place. And that will hopefully put an equal amount of tension on the gas tank to keep it in place in there. Now for the frame assembly, I'm going to wait until the engine is done and at least running. If it's not running, I'll still finish this up and diagnose it then. That way it's off the ground a lot more. My old 23-year-old back can't take it. That's why that seat over there is a godsend. But I need to get the wood cut out for this. Now, like I said, those ones are 2x6s. But the ones they used on this frame here are 2x8s. At least this one. This one is an odd size. At least, I think. Show you what I mean. Here's a 2x6 laid next to a 2x8. There you go, you got an extra 2 inches there. So that is for sure 2x8. But this one is sticking out maybe an inch. So it's almost a 2x7. Which is very interesting to me. But got an 8-foot piece of 2x6, which is what I got these planks from, and then an 8-foot 2x8, and I'm going to cut out, measure and rough cut out a piece for here, and then I think I'm just going to convert this whole piece to a 2x8, and I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. It'll just probably add more strength too to the whole thing as well. So I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and get the board set up, and we'll go ahead and rough cut out these pieces at least, and we'll be one step ahead then. Here they are, all cut out and good to go. They're going to look pretty good on that thing. This one was 2 feet long, and this one is 31.5 inches long. So, kind of had to eyeball it because that back piece is just so far gone. Not much to look at. But kind of a pretty creative idea on how they went about making this. It will still always be a mystery as to whether or not this frame that this engine sits on was factory made or was a farmer's fabricated piece of awesomeness. Either way, it was ingenious. It was ingenious. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to leave you here. I know it was kind of a short video, but there's just not much I can show you. I mean, we're at the bitter end here. We got all the parts ready and prepped and good to go. So there's not... The only real other thing I can work on at the moment is the skids, because, like I said, I want to have the engine done and running, and then I'll work on this, finish it up, slap the two together, call it a day. So, hopefully in part 8, we'll be able to get the engine assembled and everything like that. Part 9 will be the restoration on this piece here, and then part 10 will be the finale of it getting fired up and running and living once again. So, pretty excited, pretty excited. We're at the very end, y'all, very end. It takes a lot of time to do a restoration like this. It's not necessarily hard. Now, although it can be, it just depends on the circumstances. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. And Yamasaki out. We'll see y'all later.